Do you want to play a game? To your left, you will see a subscribe button. If you do not push it within 10 seconds, your monitor, cellular device, TV, laptop, or tablet will explode, ending your life and your loved ones.
What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at Saw 1. This is, again, another one of our Halloween-y movies. We're going to be taking a look at so many Halloween movies this October, and I wanted to take a look at all the Final Destinations, with the new Final Destination coming out. I wanted to take a look at all the, I just wanted to take a look at all the Saws, because, it's Saw, and I do believe a new one came out last year, and I do want to take a look at all the, Screams as well, with a new one coming out around the corner. So with all these new horror movies, I do want to take a look at Saw. So where is better to start off than the first one, Saw? Just Saw 1, the original, 2004. This is a horror crime, which is 1 hour and 43 minutes. It has a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 4.6 out of 5 on Amazon. You can watch this on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Google Play, and YouTube.
Do you want to play a game? Two men awaken to find themselves on the opposite sides of a dead body, each with specific instructions to kill the other or face consequences. These two are the latest victims of the Jigsaw Killer.
So, how this actually opens is with a floating light in some water, which then goes down the drain, leading into this guy waking up out of a bathtub and going forward into, talking to this dude. A puppet appears on the screen, being like,
"Do you want to play a game?"
And these two are then tasked with killing one another because one of them is a very corrupt police officer. Nope, that's a lie. Corrupt ambulance corrupt doctor, who isn't that great at his job, I'm going to be honest. He's done quite a few bad things. We then have the police trying to find these two people working in the background. They bring in one of Saw's ex-victims, who was in a trap for doing drugs, and she was the one in the neck trap, which would have ripped her jaw off her face if it went off, because it was the reverse bear trap. The other guy who is trapped in this room is a photographer who takes pictures of people and sells them to, everyone else to basically blackmail them into getting what they want. And the doctor ends up sawing off his own leg out of desperation to leave this room, leaving the other guy trapped in here forever, because the dead body in the middle wakes up and it's actually the person who trapped them there this entire time. He then leaves them there, and that's the end of the movie. I'm gonna be honest, this shit was fucking wild. The plot twists first time around watching it was insane. The whole aspect of two people being put in this situation and being pushed to the absolute limits, to the absolute desperation. This is some weird, torture shit going on right now. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know. There is some insane levels of torture going on in this movie, and it's good because it's interesting to see how characters would react, see how people would react in situations like this, and it brings a whole new level of fear to it because this is a lot more realistic. I'm gonna be honest, it's still not realistic, but it is more realistic than some of the other horror movies we have, like Terrifier, where it's like a demon clown, or Pennywise, where it's a demon clown. This is way more likely to happen than that, so this has a unfathomable fear factor to it. And I remember watching this way back when. I think I watched this when I was like 15, 16, first time round, and it scared the living shit out of me, and I did not watch the rest of them until this year. I am watching every single Saw movie this year to review them for you guys. I bought Billy in Fortnite last year in preparation to be able to watch these movies, and I think I can do a pretty good Billy impression, not gonna lie.
Do you want to play a game? To your left, there is a dead body, and you have to cut it open and find the key to escape your trap.
Honestly, it is just so creative. further on in the series, I'm going to be honest, this one isn't too creative. It's just trapping two guys in a room. There is creative solutions, and there is... The best thing about these movies is I like how it goes back in time. I like how it goes back to the start of the movie and points key things out, key details out, where it's like, hey, if you just paid attention, if you listened to the rules, if you thought about it logically, you could have got out of this a good hour ago, but you didn't. You rushed through it, you panicked, you stressed, and it led to you making mistakes, getting caught up in your own feelings, and then pretty much leading to a lot of death and murder. So the way to get out of this one was literally, if he didn't jolt up after being in the water, that glowing light at the start of the movie was a key. And that is so good, because if you're finding yourself submerged in water, you are going to jolt up, you are going to drag yourself up, you're not going to think about the situation you're in. So I felt like that was high levels of cheating, because technically you wouldn't have been able to get out of that situation. That is not something you could have sort of thought about. That was of no fault of his, it was a natural human instinct. Continuing on with this, they spent the entire room in this really gross, disgusting looking bathroom, and I'm gonna be honest, it was quite stale, pun intended, but I would have preferred it if they got to move around a little bit more, go into a couple of different more rooms, have a couple of different more traps. The only other trap we got to see was the reverse bear trap one, which is one of the more iconic ones to this day from the franchise. I'm going to be honest, that is a pretty fan favorite one that everybody does love and enjoy. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that one in particular. I think that one is quite grim, and I don't think it would kill you if he just ripped your jaw off. I don't think that's a murderous trap. I think that would just leave you disfigured, unfortunately. But the acting was very mediocre in this movie. I am going to be honest, the acting was not that great. It was kind of mid, and again, I don't really know how you could practice, or how you could get into this kind of situation to sort of put yourself in this mindset, because it is such a strange situation to find yourself in that you wouldn't really know how you'd react unless you were truly in it. So I can sort of give it a pass, especially with 2004 as well. The acting from that time isn't that great either. There's this really... You can tell when a movie's older just based on the acting and the cameras. And the stuff that they do, and I think it's really interesting to pick up on all that. But if I watched a movie, I could roughly tell you when it was made, just due to the editing style, the film style, the acting style. It is a special skill that I do have that I could show off in the comments if you did want me to. But yeah, I really like this one. There wasn't a lot of characters, and Billy the Puppet wasn't too scary or wasn't too ominous. Most of the fear came from the fact that you had to try and work your way out of the trap, try and survive, try and think about it logically, and being put in this time-limited death situation, because all that added stress, you have a time limit. Even without the death factor, that is still stressful. When you're on a time crunch, that is when you are at some of your highest levels of stress. So when you're at a time crunch, but at the end of that time you're going to die, that is a whole new level of fear, whole new level of anxiety, and a whole new level of stress that I don't think many people have ever been through. So it just leads to this really interesting creative concept for a movie. And back in 2004, we had never seen anything like this. However, nowadays, in the big old 2025, a good old 20 years later, we have 11 of these movies, 11 to 12 of these movies. We have so many Jigsaw movies that it is just kind of getting old at this point. But back when this one first came out, and back when I watched this one, it was genuinely incredible. Whoever did make these movies is genuinely sick and twisted in the head, because how the fuck do you come up with this shit? Not gonna lie. And this was one of my inspirations, because I was doing my GCSEs at this point, and we did get an image of a empty hallway, an abandoned hallway, for our creative writing GCSE, mock GCSE, because I never did my GCSEs because I got away with it with COVID. fuck yeah. But that's what I did for my mock. That's what I did. I wrote a Saw story because of how much it reminded me of the bathroom, this one image. And again, it is really hard to come up with like creative solutions and like think of the trap and then work out how to like subvert your audience's expectations to be like, hey, there is an easy way out of this. You just didn't see it until it was pointed out to you. You could have worked it out, but you didn't. And because that is how this first movie was set up, I assumed that the rest of them were like this. So every time I went into the next Saw movie, I would always go in and try and work it out and try and work out how, like, to get free, because it's never how you would expect, it's never what you would be thinking, and it always twists, like, you know, has a couple of twists and turns in there to make you be like, hey, what the fuck? I never thought that. I missed that. That was like a throwaway line or something that I thought was a throwaway line, but it actually is very important. But honestly, for the first Saw movie, I don't think it is too bad. I do agree it's like a 6 out of 10 because I have seen I've seen like 3 others, the ones which are on Netflix. So if I'm sort of judging them against each other, my thoughts are that this one is pretty mid compared to the others, but it is the one that does kickstart the franchise and the one that does keep getting referenced in other movies. So I do still think it deserves slightly higher than mid. So a 6 out of 10 I think is completely solid for this movie. So other than that, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you like Saw? Is it one of your favorites? Is it not? And I hope you all come back tomorrow when we go take a look at Saw 2. So other than that, hope you all enjoyed. See you all next one. Hope you all have an excellent day, and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe.